How we doing?
Student athletes and athletic administrators from the 18 ACC schools made up the 4th annual ACC Unity Tour in Alabama.
Great weekend, it's a great day.
You bring these people together from all these different walks of life and different institutions, different parts of the country, now that we have the West Coast teams there. And it's just, you're doing the same thing you do in the locker room. You've just expanded the locker room.
Athletic competition was replaced by camaraderie and unity. There was time for fun and fellowship, but the primary goal of the tour was to learn firsthand about civil rights and overcoming racial injustice through a series of visits to historic places. Representing NC State were athletics staff members Raymond Harrison, Logan O'Kelly, and Ashley Grigsby, along with student athletes Jordan Snell, Zach Myers, Maddie Cox, and Brooklyn Holt.
I felt empowered. I think that was the word of the weekend. There were so many different exhibits and just so many different dark and unspoken truths that we may not hear as often, that need to be heard and need to be spoken about. So just to be able to hear those things and really experience them firsthand was something that was very powerful.
What you're doing is you're taking information out of a textbook and you're putting it in real life.
60 years ago, civil rights activists and African-American citizens walked in protest across the Edmund Pettus Bridge, part of their 54-mile walk from Selma to Montgomery. Their end goal was to gain the right to vote.
When they were crossing the bridge, when they were fighting for the right to vote, they got attacked by state troopers.
Your orders to disperse, go home or go to your church.
And they stayed nonviolent. They stayed rooted in what they knew was right.
Those on the ACC Unity Tour crossed that same bridge, taking steps back to history, trying to imagine what it was like 60 years ago.
You try to really immerse yourself and kind of think what they were feeling, but it's completely different. They had dresses, suits on, not walking shoes, so yeah, I just had to really just know what kind of history I was walking in.
Walking across the bridge and going through that whole experience, it was really impactful, and it made me take a step back from my own life. These are all the things that I just took for granted, and they had to fight for every single thing that I might wake up in the morning and not realize that they had to fight for.
When you're really there, you could feel the energy and you could feel the emotion of those people. And I feel like that's the most powerful thing, is being able to feel it and not just hear about it or look at it.
Being able to really experience that firsthand put a lot more weight on, the history of the moment.
I just kept looking around thinking I couldn't imagine walking with just this blind faith.
They learned about the Tuskegee Airmen, a group of African-American military pilots and ground crew during World War II, who played a significant role in the desegregation of the U.S. military.
And fighting for a country that didn't fight for them, which is something that was most impactful to me, is that they learned these skills, they fought, and they looked death in the eye, and they went out and they fought for a country that did not feel the same way about them.
The Legacy Museum and Memorial for Peace and Justice explored the history of slavery and the struggles that ensued. A jarring visual was 800 steel monuments engraved with the names of those who were lynched, along with the states and counties across the country they were from.
Oh, there's Georgia. Oh, there's Alabama. Oh, there's South Carolina. And then we're walking and we see Wake County. And that's where I think it really hit us. It's like we're living here right now.
I'm from Raleigh, and Jordan Snell's also from Raleigh as well, so we were looking for Wake County. And when we found it, we were like, wow.
You don't really truly feel the impact until you're right there looking at a name of a man who was lynched in the county that you're living in right now.
I grew up in Johnston County, so just one county over from here, and I found myself the whole time we were walking through just searching for Johnston County. I took some pictures and was able to research those people afterwards, and 3 of the 4 were from the town that I grew up in. Definitely the heaviest part of the trip for me.
We would look at dates and it would be like 1940, 1950. The latest one was even like a 1960, and this was from lynchings, And we're just having the realization that that's not that long ago.
For Zach Myers, the experience in Alabama brought a unique perspective. He was adopted and raised in a white family.
All the history that we learned about was such black versus white, you know what I'm saying? And me as a black man who was raised like essentially in a white world, I've never had to feel I'm on either side. I was torn between the sides because it's like, this person was killed by someone who looked like my dad or someone who looked like my mom. And like, the person who was killed looks like me, but my life is the complete opposite. So there was honestly a lot of remorse, a lot of guilt, honestly, but at the same time, a lot of gratitude as well.
At the end of the day, group meetings were held to share and reflect what you saw and what you felt. A time for honest, critical conversations.
There were days where we shared, 20 people probably shared what they experienced, and you think, oh, I didn't really notice that, or, oh, I didn't think about that.
I would say probably everyone that went was affected in some way. And they weren't afraid to share, and I thought that was great. Like, they used their platform, they wanted to use their platform.
When you're there, you're living it and breathing it and feeling very motivated, but our question on the way home was, okay, well, what are you gonna do with this? What are you gonna do with this knowledge and information?